outside the Tuto building. As an EMS student, you attend lectures in Tuto, Chancellors and Centenary. Lectures are approximately 50 minutes long.
On average, you'll have 6 classes per day and 2 or 3 practicals per week. Here at UP, we have state-of-the-art facilities put in place specifically to make your learning experience of a higher standard.
In general, you'll have semester modules, but you can also have year modules, so don't forget to attend all your lectures. In first year, your subjects are quite broad, but as you progress in your university career, your degree becomes more specialized.
The EMS faculty has some of the best lecturers in South Africa who are experts in their field, and they'll always be welcoming and ready to help you.
The University of Pretoria uses hybrid learning.
What exactly is hybrid learning?
Hybrid learning means that some content is actually discussed in class, whereas the other is used on an online system like ClickUp.
Oh, now I see why they call the online test we do ClickUp test. It's quite clever, I must say.
That's why I choose UP.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Teresa van Oort, a senior lecturer in the Department of Accounting at the University of Pretoria and a chartered accountant, or CA for short. I'm the module coordinator for the Accounting 1 module, and you will see me next year in your first accounting lectures if you choose UP. We would like to welcome all prospective students and their parents or guardians to the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences first live stream. During this session, we'll be covering the Accounting Sciences program towards qualification as a chartered accountant. We believe that this session will provide you with some valuable information on why you should choose UP for this prestigious qualification. We're going to start with a welcoming address from our Dean of the Faculty, Professor Elsie Loots. This will be followed by an informative presentation by Professor Johan Oberholster. He is the Deputy Dean of Teaching and Learning at our faculty, but he's also the Program Coordinator of the Chartered Accountancy Program and himself a CA. He is also one of our panelists today. Welcome, Prof. Oberholster. The panel will answer some of your questions after the presentation, and let me introduce the other 2 members of the panel. In honor of Women's Month, we have laden the panel with beautiful ladies. Ms. Sumaya Yiwa is currently busy with her first year of Chartered Accountancy articles as an academic trainee at UP. She was actually one of the top 10 candidates in the January 2020 Initial Test of Competence, which is an exam administered by SAICA, which is the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. It's written by almost 3,500 aspiring CAs per year after they have completed their university training. So being in one of the top 10 is really a very big achievement. Hi, Sumaya. And last but not least, we have Mrs. Joyce Mina Wakalonji. She is also a CA and a senior lecturer at the Department of Accounting at the University of Pretoria, and she lectures third-year accounting students. Good day. So the entire panel, including myself, chose UP for our respective degrees. To those of you on Facebook, make sure to post your questions in the comments section, and those watching on YouTube can post questions on the live chat. Our social media handles will be popping up throughout the show so that you can follow us. There are 2 opportunities to take home a bookmark voucher for R1,000. Bookmark is the on-campus bookstore. So make sure to use the hashtag UPEMS to stand a chance of winning. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our Dean of the Faculty, Professor Elsie Loots, who will be giving a welcoming address.
Welcome to the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences virtual event. I'm Professor Elsa B. Loots, the Dean of the Faculty. The Faculty hosts 8 departments and a School for Public Management and Administration. We are a proud member of the internationally renowned AACSB. Continued accreditation by national and international professional and statutory bodies clearly provide evidence of the quality of our programs. All our subject areas have in recent years been included in international subject ranking lists, with the most recent one being the 2020 Shanghai Rankings Global Ranking of Academic Subjects, where we were in the number 1 spot for finance and a joint first for economics in South Africa. Allow me to highlight why you need to choose UP for your BCom or BAdmin studies. Our top performing CA program has over the past decade had an exceptional average pass rate of 94% in the first CA professional exam, while 70% of the top 10 performers in the 2020 exam came from UP. Please stay tuned to the live stream to watch Professor Johan Oberholzer's presentation and engage with him on the flagship CA program. Choose the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences at the University of Pretoria. Choose UP.
As I mentioned earlier, we would love for you to engage with us online. Please leave your comments for our question and answer session that will follow a bit later today. We already did receive some comments on our social media pages. Irfan said that he is very excited to learn what we have to offer. And I can tell you that we are excited to share with you what we have to offer. And Lizelle said that she's looking forward to learning more about what the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences has to offer her next year. Well, let me introduce Professor Johan Oberholzer to you. As I mentioned previously, he is the program coordinator of the Chartered Accountancy Program at UP. He's sort of like the father of the program, and you'll see him throughout your studies because he really loves to encourage students and to motivate them. So he has a very informative presentation that's coming up now. Please enjoy.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a privilege to talk to you this afternoon and to deliver some information which I think can guide you towards the CA program at UP. Especially, I'd like to address this to our prospective CA students as well as their parents. Now, the first thing to know is, of course, what exactly is a CAS? And I think if you look at the word chartered accountant, it is quite clear that it is somebody that's on a register somewhere and it's governed by a professional body, in this case, SAICA. So a chartered accountant is the highest level of professional qualification in accounting science in South Africa, and it gives you a broad-based commerce platform that provides ample work opportunities. For instance, in 2019, at the end of the year, we delivered 200 final year students to write the ITC in January 2020, and every single one of them had a job. And if one looks at the employment situation in South Africa, that is indeed wonderful. Another thing to look at is the fact that if you look at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, of all the directors of listed companies on the stock exchange, 35% of those are chartered accountants. Now, that's indeed remarkable if one thinks of all the different professions that are available in South Africa, and despite that, 35% of those are in fact chartered accountants. Then something which many young people want to know about, what is the remuneration like? Well, let's put it this way, it is robust. But one must understand that you don't get this for free. Chartered accountants notoriously have to work very hard. Ladies and gentlemen, so the studies requires a high level of input, but on the other side, once you qualified, it will deliver a high level of output. Important that one understands that this is very similar to medicine, engineering, actuarial science. Yes, it is a wonderful career, but you will work to get there. Let's look at the route to obtaining the CA qualification. at the University of Pretoria. Now, there are basically 3 levels. Firstly, you look at the undergraduate studies, then you look at postgraduate studies, and lastly, there's a 3-year training contract. Now, when you join UP for the BCom Accounting Sciences, you must obviously have met the admission requirements. Those would be an APS of 34, a 5 for English, and a 6 for mathematics. You can see we're quite serious about the mathematics, and we do not look at maths literacy. So what happens then, you apply with your grade 11 marks, and if you comply with the admission requirements, we will then issue provisional acceptance to you in due course. Come the end of your grade 12 year, which for you are now looming ahead of you, then those marks will come into the university, we will consider those, and if you still comply with the minimum requirements, remember, you don't have to get exactly the same marks in grade 11, but you must comply with the APS of 34, the 5 and the 6 for mathematics, then you will be finally accepted, and you can then proceed towards registration. Once you've completed your 3 years of undergraduate study, then you'll proceed to your 1 year of postgraduate study. And for that, you'll be registering for the postgraduate diploma in accounting sciences, which is a selection program, and you obviously have to comply with those selection requirements in order to proceed with that. Important also to realize is that when you start with accounting sciences, the postgraduate diploma, it will give you entrance into master's degree study as well. So it's very similar to an honors degree, it just does not have a research requirement in there. Once you've completed your postgraduate diploma successfully, you will join a training office for the 3-year training contract. And during this 3-year period, you will firstly write a professional exam in January once you've started, which is the ITC, the initial test of competency. And then 20 months later, you will write the APC, which is the assessment of professional competence, where they check whether you have in fact mastered the competencies of the profession. Then you have another year left of training, and once you've completed that, you would then be able to register as a chartered accountant. It takes 7 years in total, 3 years undergraduate, 1 year postgraduate, and then of course a 3-year training period. Now let's look at the content of the studies at the University of Pretoria. Obviously, I'm not going to go through everything, but if you look at the screen, you will see there are certain modules or subjects that are indicated in bold blue. Those are your core modules. Those are your majors. Financial accounting, financial management, auditing, and taxation are the ones. There's no specific order of preference, just as I thought about them. And then, of course, you have certain enrichment modules. Those are the business management, commercial law, economics, computer science, what we call informatics, statistics, very important with big data coming through, and of course, communication, management, and so on, and ethics. Those enrichment modules put you in a position to better understand and apply the content of your core modules. And once you get to the 3rd and 4th year, of course, there we will integrate all these other modules into those core modules and test your competencies there. So that's a brief overview of the content of the studies at the University of Pretoria. Now, why should I choose the University of Pretoria? Well, this is Choose UP event, a Choose UP event. So I thought I'll dwell on this a bit. Now, at UP, we do not set you up for failure. And we have high admission requirements, but those will stand you in good stead as you will be able to complete your studies successfully. UP has had excellent results in the ITC and the APC over many years, and therefore we have a very good track record. We currently hold the highest psycho accreditation ranking. That's a 1 for the CA program. You can't go much higher than that. 1 is the top. And UP also has a pass rate that's really exemplary in the January 2020 ITC. 92% for first-time writers, and also a 92% for all writers, which means if there are students that have failed, they also had a 92% pass rate, which is indeed remarkable. If you compare that to the South African pass rate for the first-time writers in January, that was at a 68%, so we had sort of a 24% premium there. And if you look at all writers, they had a 59%, and we had a 92% there, which gives us a 33% premium, quite remarkable. And then the cherry on top, and one of our panelists also from this group, we had 7 out of the top 10 ITC candidates in South Africa in 2020. Out of this, in that specific year, 3,657 students who wrote. So 7 out of 10 came from UP. That is indeed remarkable. Then also, ladies and gentlemen, another accolade, the highest combined pass rate in January and June in South Africa since 2017, with, in 2017, a 98.5% pass rate, 2018, a 99.5%, and 2019, a 97.1%. Of course, we don't have the 2020 stuff yet, because the exams have not both been written and the results released. Ladies and gentlemen, then, lastly, perhaps other matters which are quite important related to first-year students. You will see once you receive your program and so on for next year that there is an orientation program for first-year students. Why is that important? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to realize you have never done this before. This is your first time at university, and university is vastly different from school. For one thing, we have 53,000 students at UP, whereas your school, if it's a big one, may have 2,000 learners. You will have, say, 40 or probably fewer students in a specific class in your school. We will have between 200 and up to 600 students in a class. So it's vastly different. Also, you are expected to do this on your own. The lecturers are interested in you and they want you to pass, but you have to do the work. They're not going to ask you whether you've done your homework. That is your problem. And we find that many students have issues with time management when they get to university. And of course, for that, they also deal with that during the first year orientation period. So I really want to encourage you, when you pitch at UP next year, make sure that you attend the orientation and take what they say there to heart. A second burning question is, what if I didn't have accounting at school and now want to do BCom Accounting Sciences? Is that not impossible to do? Not at all. If you haven't had accounting at school, it's not the end of the world. We are more focused on mathematics because we want to know that you can think critically and you have the skills that are enrolled or covered by the mathematics syllabus at school. So we see all students as if they haven't had accounting at school when they enter the University of Pretoria, and we also go about that accordingly. If you haven't had accounting at school, we will support you so that you can come up to steam quite quickly. And then the other one, which is a bit of a negative one, I suppose, but we need to address that. What if my maths mark in the NSC is not a 6, or my APS is not a 34? Now, ladies and gentlemen, all is not lost. You cannot register for a BCom Accounting Sciences directly. You can't register for it not yet. But you can register for a BCom Financial Sciences with the math requirements of a 5, or a BCom Economic and Management Sciences with a math requirement of a 4. And once you register, you should carefully check the transfer guide on the EMS website to register for the correct modules and to see what the specific transfer hurdles are that you should meet. So you register for those degrees, you check the modules that you should register for, and you must meet certain requirements in order for you to transfer out of your current degree into the Accounting Sciences degree at the end of the first year. So what is the moral of the story here? You can perform yourself into the CA program at the end of the first year. But what you must bear in mind is that the ball is in your court, and it is your serve. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that's in a nutshell what happens at the university and at the CA program. You have to make sure that you do what is necessary to eventually make a success of your chosen degree. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my story. Just do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Prof. It is indeed a privilege for us to work at such a top-rated university. We really do care about our students, and we are generally, actually always, as invested in their own success as they are. Please make sure that you also follow us on Instagram, because now it's time to hand out our first bookmark giveaway for the session. Congratulations to Irfan Hajat. Well done, you've won a 1,000 Rand bookmark voucher. Remember, to enter this competition, you need to use the hashtag UPEMS handle on our Facebook or Instagram page. We are now very excited to move into our question and answer session with our panelists, Professor Oberholzer, Ms. Sumaya, and Mrs. Joyce Mina. So I'm going to read the questions that have come in so far, and then I will address them to one of our panel members. So Devon asked the first question, and he wants to know, what will happen if I miss 70% for maths in my grade 12 final exams? Will I then not be able to join UP at all? I'm going to hand this question over to Ms. Joyce Mina to give Devon the answer.
So thank you so much for your question, and it is quite an important question. So the short answer is you won't be able to register or enroll for BCom Accounting Sciences. However, please take note that during the application process at the University of Pretoria, you have to give a first choice, a second choice, as well as a third choice. So it's advisable for you to exercise all those options, because if you only put down a first choice and then you don't get in, then the system basically throws you out and you can't be redirected to another degree. So you are applying to study BCom Accounting Sciences, and let's say, based on your grade 11 result, you can see that you just meet the minimum requirements. So you have that 7, you have the 6 for the maths on the dot, so 70%, and you have the minimum APS. However, you're not sure if you're going to continue to perform accordingly in matric. Then we would advise you for a second option to apply for something that you know you'll definitely get into. So that could be BCom Financial Sciences, where the maths requirement is at a level 5, and even a third option would be BCom Economic and Management Sciences, where your maths option is at a level 4.
Thank you for that answer, Joyce Mina. I think it really provides some useful information. The next question we have is from Henke de Villiers, and he wants to know where he will be able to work once he has qualified as a chartered accountant. Now, since Sumaya is now actually in her training contract, I think that she is a good person to ask this question to.
Thank you, Teresa. Mr. de Villiers, CAs are trained to create value and contribute to society. The beauty of the CA qualification is that it provides a wide range of opportunities, work opportunities in the financial field. For example, you might work as an internal auditor, you might work in an audit firm, you might work as a tax consultant or a management consultant, you might work as a forensic auditor. You could even start your own business. You might consider working in the government sector. That would be, for example, working for SARS or the Auditor General. You might work in academia as a lecturer, and there are also many international opportunities, and the CA qualification is widely recognized internationally.
Thank you for that, Sumaya. I think it's also important to acknowledge that when we, us as chartered accountants, are actually responsible for the financial health of the country that we work in. So we definitely also have a significant contribution that we can make to society as a whole. The next question comes from Kathleen Morris, and she's asking if is UP's good performance in the January ITC a new thing, or has UP also performed well in the past? Well, let me hand over to Joyce Mina to give us the answer for that one.
Well, I can assure you that it is not a new thing. Over the past 14 years, UP has had a first-time pass rate of 92% or above. And if we just look at the 2020 ITC results, you will see that 7 out of the 10 top 10 candidates come from the University of Pretoria. And also in prior years, you will always see a certain number of students from UP featuring in the top 10 for ITC. And over and above that, the first Tutuka student to feature in the top 10 for an ITC exam was also from the University of Pretoria. So I can definitely assure you that if you choose UP, you will be in good hands.
Thank you, Joyce Mina. I also could really just emphasize that. I mean, obviously we will say we are the best because we are ourselves and we like to say that we are the best, but I think the statistics and the results also speak for itself. Good. The next question comes from Gladness Zulu, and he's asking, it is clear that UP has achieved excellent pass rates in the ITC. Thank you, Gladness. But that is easy to achieve this by failing all students in their final year, and then only the best students pass to the postgraduate diploma. And they again passed the ITC. Is this the case at UP, Professor Oberholzer?
Thank you, Teresa. Well, I can safely say it's not the case. Our pass rates in the postgraduate diploma is amongst the highest in South Africa, normally range between 70 and 80%, which is really an exceptional pass rate. So we do not do that. We give students a chance, but we make sure that they can, in fact, pass the ITC. And we put in a lot of effort to ensure that at the end of the day, they're at the right level. So, Gladness, no, we don't do that. We, in fact, give students a fair chance. And, despite us being, it being a difficult degree, our students really, at the end of the day, make things happen.
Thank you, Prof. Oberholzer. While being a first-year lecturer, I can definitely say that we understand the journey that the students need to go through. So we really try to coach you through that journey so that you can be successful. It does take some time to get to know everything and to perform, but we are there with you to help you do that. Right. So the next question comes from Vinny Naidu, and he wants to know, is there a limit on the number of first-year students who we can take into the CA program? Well, as the CA program coordinator, I'm going to bat this one to Prof. Oberholzer to answer.
Thanks again, Teresa. No, well, of course, there is an upper limit. We can't have 20,000 students in the program, but we normally can take up to 650 to 700 students, and we haven't had that many students in the past number of years. So I think students can feel fairly safe. If they apply at UP and they meet the requirements, then they will be accommodated in the program. It's very, very unlikely that we will reach a level where we can't accommodate students. And if the worst gets to the worst, we'll make a plan.
Thank you, Prof. Oberholzer. Right, the next question comes from Precious, and she wants to know, what happens if I do not comply with the admission requirements of the BCom Accounting Sciences degree based on my grade 11 results, but I do want to join the CA program? I think Prof also alluded to this in your presentation, but if you can just answer Precious, that would be fantastic.
Precious, look, if you don't comply with the requirements initially in your grade 11, on your grade 11 marks, we then suggest that you apply for BCom Financial Sciences. And what you can then do, if you do perform very well at the end of the year in the matric results, you can write me an email and ask me to be transferred to the BCom Accounting Sciences program. I will, of course, check your your admission requirements to make your marks against the admission requirements to make sure that you do in fact comply. And when you do comply and there is space available in the program, which I've mentioned should not be an issue, we will transfer you into the accounting sciences. But of course, you must ask us to do that, and we must have documentary proof. I can't just decide one morning to transfer you because I think it's a good idea. You need to prompt me in some way or another.
Thank you, Prof. I think it's good to know that there are alternative routes into the CA program as well. So one should take note of that and just make sure that if you are one of those cases, that you know what to do. Right, our next question comes from Estie van Tonder, and she wants to know what supports are there for students who do not speak English as their first language. I think this is an important question because we present We present a degree in English, but we do provide support. And I think, Joyce Mina, if you don't mind answering that question.
Yes, so we do provide support. There are translation lists, but over and above that, the lecturers, the academic trainees, and even the tutors also speak different languages. So there will always be someone who's able to just assist you and give you the support that you need to succeed.
Thank you for that. Yes, I think that is extremely important to remember. We have a lot of support available at UP, and language support is one of the many avenues of support that we have available. Next question is from Mpo Dlamini, and he wants to know what a normal week would look like for a CA student. Well, I'm going to give that question to Sumaya, since she was most recently a student, to answer that for Mpo.
Thank you, Teresa. Mpo, you follow a weekly timetable. There are about 7 hours per week allocated to accounting lectures, and you will spend about 4 hours per week on the lectures for the other modules. There are also weekly tutorial sessions, which helps greatly for test preparation. Throughout the year, there are test weeks, and there are also plenty of opportunities to engage with lecturers and tutors during consultation hours every day.
Thank you for that, Sumaya. Yes, it is a jam-packed week of fun accounting and other modules that is waiting for you if you choose this degree. Everyone loves it that's doing it. Okay, so the next question is from Taryn Reed, and she wants to know, is this degree as difficult as they say it is? And again, I'm going to ask Sumaya to answer this, since she's just completed her postgraduate diploma last year.
Thanks again, Teresa. It's not easy, but as Prof. Oberholster mentioned, we do not set up our students for failure. Anything that is really worth it requires hard work. If you work hard, work consistently, and take the advice of your lecturers, you will be successful. And also at UP, there is a lot of support. If you choose UP, you will be in great hands. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Sumaya. Right, our last question for today comes from Menenkle Zulu, and he wants to know, what characteristics does a student need to have to be able to be successful in this degree? Now, Prof. Oberholster has been the father of the Chartered Accountancy Programme for many years. I don't know even how many years since I've studied. I don't know if we should say that on the live stream, but anyway, it's out there now. So I think he knows best what we expect from students, what type of characteristics they should have.
Thank you, Teresa. I always like answering this question. I am a rather strict father, I must admit, but be that as it may, I think what is very important is that students should have grit. They should have resilience, and they must be able to get up when they fall. Because sometimes things will not go your way in this program, and it happened to all of us, I'm sure. And also, I think it's very important that students must have a good critical thinking mind, and they must also look at a growth mindset. You know, so they must want to learn, and they must want to work hard, and they must want to succeed. So I think, you know, the program is difficult, as Sumaya has rightly said, but if you are prepared to work, then this will not be impossible to do. In fact, many of our students really enjoy the program because it's their interest, and they are tenacious people, and they just go in there and they just do it.
Thank you, Prof. And if I can just add to that, I think it's very important for the students to know that when they come into this degree, your passion or your interest should really be to make a difference in the financial world one day. If you read the newspapers, there's a lot of turmoil regarding the financial industry, and we really train people to be leaders in the future. And that is why we really expect you to have these characteristics that Prof has alluded to. And I also think something that we always tell the students in the first year is that if you got into this degree, if you had good enough marks at your school to get into this degree, you really have what it takes to pass. The skills that you need, you're going to develop further at university, and it's going to be, for some skills, you're going to be needing a bit more grit than for others, but we definitely support you all the way and we care about you, so it's doable. Right. That is all we have time for today, and I just want to thank the panel for taking the questions. I'm sure the viewers have found your answers to be insightful. If you have any other burning questions, you can please go to the EMS website. On the University of Pretoria's website, you'll find contact details there, and you can contact us if you want to know anything else. Before we end this session, it's time to announce the second winner for the bookmark handout. And that winner of a 1,000 Rand voucher, congratulations, is John McCain. Congratulations, John. Thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to stay updated on our social media platforms for more information. We wish you all the best for your exams, and we are really looking forward to welcoming you to the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences next year.